Hi, I'm Eddie Pava from Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, and along with our private sector partner, Bridging North America, we are completing the construction of these majestic towers for the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Today, we are going to the top of the Canadian Tower to give you an exclusive, behind-the-scenes look at the final steps to top off this masterful engineering feat. Come along for the ride. Forever changing the shared skyline between Windsor, Canada and Detroit, Michigan, the impressive towers have been under construction since 2019. The tower in the United States reached its full height of 220 meters, 722 feet at the end of August. That is how high we will climb to see the final work on the Canadian Bridge Tower. To get to the top of the Canadian Bridge Tower, just like the dozens of workers involved in this project, we use this elevator, operated by Kyle Barnett.
Right now we're sitting at about 3/4 of the way up the tower, probably about 580 feet. We just left platform 5, a temporary platform for all the post-stressing. Right now we're probably traveling at about 200 feet per minute.
How important is this job?
It's quite important. If we're not running, no one's getting to the different platforms to take care of what needs to be done on a daily basis. We run non-stop for about, we run 2 shifts right now, and it's non-stop taking material and guys up and down from each level.
And when you mention platforms, what are the platforms? Where are you taking people?
We have our bottom entry-level deck that you guys came on, and then we have our road deck. Like I said, P5 with all the post-tensioning guys, iron workers where they work. And then we have the jump form. Jump form is a temporary column which moves up the tower when they pour and climbs up itself. So that level's always moving.
How long does it take to get from the bottom to the top?
Right now, I actually timed it 2 days ago, and it's about 5, depends actually on the wind speed and everything, but going up, it's about 5 minutes, 10, 15 seconds.
What's it like to work on a project like this?
Working on a project of this scale, it's kind of surreal, it's kind of humbling with as many trades and as many people working all at once to try to get the same goal accomplished. It's humbling when you take a look at the end of the day on what's being accomplished and how far we've gotten. It's pretty crazy.
Are you from Windsor?
From Essex, born and raised in Essex, yeah.
So being a project like this in your own backyard?
You said it, in your own backyard, it doesn't happen that often, so quite fortunate to be part of it.
Wow, look at this.
Hey,
Hi.
Good to see you.
Great to see you.
Yeah, welcome to the Canadian pilot of the Gordie Howe International Bridge.
Great to be here. Wow, we're at the top of the Canadian Tower. So how high are we?
So we are 218 meters, which is roughly 715 feet. When we top the pylon, we're going to be at 220 meters, so we're right there.
Wow. And it doesn't feel like you're 700 feet in the air because of this jump form. Tell us about this jump form.
So this is very usual for bridges like this one. So when you have a cable stayed bridge or a suspension bridge with a concrete poor pylon, this is very typical. So this is a little different maybe because it's very big. This is 4 stories tall.
4 stories?
4 stories. And also because we had to combine the 2 forms as we were going up from the legs into this one.
Of course.
So allow us to do safely everything we need to do here. So for example, in this level, as you can see, we bring all of the materials and also we pour the concrete for the pylon. In the next level is where we have the river installation and the actual forms. Then the 3rd level is where we have the patching and the repairs on the concrete, and then we have an inspection level.
Okay, and how many workers can fit in this jump form at one time?
So right now we're using 30 workers, and they are working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Wow, and they belong to what unions?
So we have iron workers, laborers, and operating engineers.
Wow, it takes a lot of people to do this. And this construction has been going on for several years now. Let's set the stage. Before we talk about topping off this tower, how did we get to this point?
So everything starts always in a piece of paper, right? So design, planning, and preparation are key for the success of the construction. So after that, if we're talking about working on site, the first thing we need to do is the drill shafts. That provides the foundation for the pylon and the beams. We had to go as deep as 30 meters.
30 meters down?
Yeah, it's around 100 feet to find the solid rock. And then after that, we can build the footings for the legs and the crossbeam between the footings. And then we start with the leg construction, for which we use a forming system like this one, which is the ones that we combine around 140 meters above ground, which is around 450 feet. And then after we combine, we build the upper pylon, which is where all of the cables go.
And the jump form jumped every time?
That's correct. So we jump 4.5 meters at a time. And we have done so far 25 jumps in the legs and 22 jumps on the upper pylon.
Wow, that's amazing. So you were mentioning some of the materials used to build up the tower. Let's talk about that, the concrete and rebar. What is used entirely to build up this tower?
So we use mainly reinforced concrete, which is made out of high strength concrete, it's 60 megapascals. We use rebar, which is basically steel. We use even stainless steel in some of the areas of the pylon for durability purposes. We have some steel boxes in the upper pylon.
Okay, and how does the concrete and the rebar get inside the tower?
So for the concrete, we pump the concrete from the ground level, and then for the rebar and other materials, we use the tower crane that we have right there. And that's the way we place everything on the pylon.
So then tell us about the process of how each segment is built. What goes in first?
So the first thing we do is to place the forming system in the right location. And then depending on if you're on the legs or in the upper pylon, the process is a little bit different. In the pylon, which is where we are right now, in the upper pylon, what we do first is to install the box, the steel box that we have right there, for example, in this one. And then we start with the installation of the rebar in the lower level. Then we close the forming system, we pour the concrete, and then we're ready to jump the forming system again.
And then it jumps again.
Yep.
You said the legs were done differently though?
Yeah, for the legs, we don't install the boxes. We don't need the boxes in the legs because the boxes are just for being the anchor for the cables, and also they are an interior forming system for the concrete. We don't need that for the legs.
Let's talk about those boxes. They're called anchor boxes for a reason. Why is that? What is their purpose?
So the main purpose is to serve as the support for the active anchor for the cables. So as we are building the deck, we have a passive anchor for the cables on the deck level, but we need an active anchor for the cables on the pylon. The boxes are allowing the cables to be anchored to the pylon.
So now that we're at the top of the tower, tell us how we finish off the tower. How does that work?
So we have to install the last piece of it, and then we're going to be ready for the architectural heads. And then the pylon is going to be done.
What are the architectural heads?
So we have here the rebar for it. Basically, they allow us to protect the pylon against the rain or accumulation of snow or ice.
They're sloped for the rain and ice?
Yes, they are. So we need to avoid the accumulation of the snow, ice, and rain. So that's the reason for the slope on them. And also, I think they're nice.
When the architectural heads are done, the top of the tower is done, but there's still work taking place. What is that work?
That's correct. So what we need to continue doing is to install the anchors for the cables. That piece is not going to be done until we finish the deck in around May or June of next year. And also we need to do the refreshing of the system, but this is going to happen right afterwards.
The tower is being completed. What is the next step that you're most excited about in the project?
So everybody's going to think about the deck for sure because it's taking a lot of attention, right? But I'm as excited about the 75 interchange or the Canadian POEs. It's a wonderful project, right?
Right, like the bridge gets all the attention, but there are 4 different components to this project, right?
That's correct. So POEs, they're going to be the largest in the border between Canada and US. And the interchange is a very important piece of engineering. So yeah, all of them are very excited.
So Jose, what does it mean to the workers to be able to finish this tower?
So for them, this is a very important milestone. They are very proud of being part of this project, and this is just a recognition of the work that they have been doing.
What does it mean to you to finish this tower and be a part of this Gordie Howe International Bridge project?
So for me, this is also very important. I've been here for 2.5 years, And for me and for the 2,500 people here, this is a great recognition for the progress.
Appreciate the time, Jose Luis. Thank you for talking about this tower for the Gordie Howe International Bridge.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you, Manny.